Hello, everybody. Good morning from India. I'm Manpreet. I'm a well-being therapist. And today, thank you so much for coming to my live LinkedIn show. LinkedIn live show on mental health at workplaces. We have today with us a very talented, beautiful musical performer who has more than 12 years of experience just at the tender age of 16 years. So she is amazing and she's going to share lots of nuggets for all of us to learn from. And she's also going to share her journey. At the end of this live stream, which is a first of its kind, is in my opinion, in my knowledge, it's the first time it is happening on LinkedIn that there would be a live musical performance at the end of the show. Isn't it amazing? Well, yeah. Are you excited? Is you?
Yeah, super excited for it.
So everybody, we will be beginning with our conversation. We will be discussing our journey. We will be sharing ideas. We'll be sharing our tips, and everything is going to happen. But before that, we'll also look at what the status is today. So before I begin, let me just clarify one thing, that who is Miss MP? Well, I am a well-being therapist. I'm a child psychologist, an ADHD coach, wilderness explorer, homeschooling mom, and an entrepreneur. I have been working with children for the past 8+ years. And all these children that I work with, well, most of them call me Miss MP lovingly. So that's where this whole brand came into picture. And in today's show, as April is Stress Awareness Month, we are going to share our stories, tips on how to deal with stress and what is the status of stress and what is the status of whole mental health at workplace during the pandemic in the music industry, and how everybody is dealing with it. Now, honestly, before we move ahead, tell me, how are you? How are you really feeling? So anybody who is at the moment attending, could you please use this link to share how are you feeling, or you can just quickly comment below. How are you feeling today? Yizu, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm super excited for the performance and also for our chat. So yeah, it's like the April break for me. So I have a week break from school. So yeah, super excited. How about you? How are you feeling, Miss MP?
Sorry, you're excited, which is great. It's wonderful. Hey, hi, Monica. There is Monica, who is saying she is feeling good, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing this. So we have another person from Indonesia. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow.
Wow.
Now, Yizu right now is hailing from Canada, and it's 9:30 p.m. there. So I think we're going to have such fun. But it looks like Yizu had a good day.
Yeah.
That's where she's like feeling excited. Yeah. So
yeah,
as you asked Yizu, how I am feeling, honestly, I am excited on both positive and not so positive terms as well.
Oh.
It's been a lot that's going on personal front and professional as well, because something I think most of us have understood, thanks to the pandemic in a way, that there is no clear distinction between work and life. We have been trying to, balancing, we've been trying to do those balancing acts that we have been performing so far, that, work and life can be balanced, and these are two separate, mutually exclusive entities. I think now we have been able to understand, even for that matter, whether we call it academic workspace or the professional workspace or the life, there are no clear distinctions. So that's what we are going to discuss today. Before we move ahead, let me just quickly also share the link to this. How are you feeling?
Awesome.
Just a moment.
And yeah, I'll check it out too.
Thank you so much for being patient. Thank you so much, Hizu.
Yeah.
Honestly, everybody, yesterday we were having a conversation. Hizu and I were having a chat before the session, before we could actually hold this session. Hizu knows how much patience that I demand. And as an ADHD, I think if you were dealing with somebody who has ADHD, you would know, yes, they have lots of great things to share. However, they really need lots of patience to deal with. So I have shared the link to, this is the link which I have shared in the comment section, if it is visible to everybody, and you can vote how are you feeling right now. But before we move ahead,
I don't see it at the moment, but
okay, let me see. If it's not, I think I can just directly post it on LinkedIn Live. I'm sorry for the fuss. It's just a little. Anyway, so coming back to how am I feeling? As I told you, it's a bit exciting on both the sides, and that's what I think this pandemic has taught us, that we can really leverage the opportunity. We can really leverage all of the opportunities that we are getting so far with respect to how we utilize our time, how we utilize whatever that we have got with us, irrespective of, and is it positive, is it negative, or what is it like? Well, yeah, that's how it is. Okay, just one moment. I'm sorry, just one moment. It's almost done.
yeah, no worries.
So I've shared the link now directly on LinkedIn.
We can see it.
Awesome, thank you, Isyu. Everybody, Isyu is one of the most wonderful person that I have met so far. Honestly, in just a couple of conversations and while looking at her work, I have become her fan.
I'm a fan of your work too.
Oh no, seriously, Isyu. Well, she's also known as Ella, so whichever way anybody would want to call her, you can choose. I think I love to call her from with her first name, with the name that she was given by her family. So she's one of the amazing persons, I must say. Not only she is patient, she is wise, she is witty, she has got such talent to connect with people. And at the age of 16, the leadership lessons that she shares on her LinkedIn posts, my goodness, something that most of us can really engage with. So if you're not following her so far, please go ahead and do that. I would recommend you to go ahead, please. Now, let's directly dive into art. How art affects us. Now, art has been a part of our lives since ages, since centuries, since Stone Age. We can see people utilizing the importance of utilizing the benefits of art. Now, brain research also shows that there is a clear link between art and mental health and how it helps you, me, and all of us in our everyday lives. Now, this is something that I think, if not all, at least most of us have been using in our own capacity, quantity, quality in our lives. Something that we have been leveraging for our mental health and well-being. There are huge benefits. One of the major benefits that I personally enjoy, and something that Yizu shared with me earlier, that she enjoys doing and she leverages as well, is the state of flow. The state of flow that one can really achieve through art, and the benefits that they can reap out of the whole practice of this mindfulness, these are amazing. Art is one of the ways through which anybody can achieve well-being. Now again, art is not the only source. However, if especially in today's world where it is still not affordable for everybody to be able to get quality mental health services, this is something that anybody and everybody can utilize. Of course, it is not possible to replace the professional services that you would need sometimes, but this is one thing that can act as a first aid that you can utilize at home, at workplace, in school. Like, do you remember, especially all the oldies like us? Now, in front of Yizu, I think we must call ourselves oldies. We have been using the technique of art in our lives at school, since school. I mean, do you remember we doodling at the back of our notebook while we were trying to absorb everything that was taught, especially through lecture mode? Now we have also been leveraging the power of music. I think I have never met anybody who does not appreciate music. Now, somebody who creates music, we would love to listen from her after a while. So just stay tuned. Now, next, understanding the relationship between art and brain. Now, there is a new branch of psychology, which is neuroaesthetics, which is the understanding or the scientific study of neurobiology and how it is influenced by art. Isn't it amazing? There is this whole branch which tells us through scientific research that how art influences our overall well-being. Now, we have been leveraging the advantages, but some of the great advantages of using or practicing art every day are the increased mindfulness state. We can really be aware of what we are doing, how we are doing it, and we can then make conscious efforts to change our mental state. Now, art also helps us to reduce our cortisol levels, which is a major factor in increasing our stress levels. Now, April is Stress Awareness Month, and if we can really leverage, say, for example, we just take 2 minutes a day, every day, to devote to art for your mental health. Imagine the amount of time you will be spending for yourself, especially in the pandemic. Now, otherwise as well, everybody is fighting for attention, your attention. Now, in this digital age, the most valued asset that you, I, and everybody has got, which everybody is also fighting for, is the attention. Now, if you can really expand your attention levels, think about the amount of things you will be able to do, the amount of dedication that you will be able to provide to your work, to your own health, your family, your business, and everything. Everything in your life demands 100% of your attention when you're dealing with it. Now, when people say that nobody can multitask, See, in certain terms, it's true that they cannot. However, it's not true as well, because we can actually do multiple things by being dedicated at one point in time on one thing while letting the other thing run. Now, to really be able to leverage those opportunities, you need more awareness. And art is the best source to create that level of awareness in you, that level of flow in you. There is a lot to speak about it. What I can do is I can share the links to most of the articles that I have shared. I'm showcasing here, where we can discuss if we want, or you can just go through one of the articles that I definitely want you to go through. Everybody, if you're interested in understanding how art, artists, and mental health are interlinked, I'll share that link in the comments. Now, all of us have been using it. Art helps us relieve stress. That's something that has been proven through various studies. There is a whole branch, which is art therapy. There are lots of art therapists available. However, you can be your own therapist as well. Now, art also helps us in dealing with our emotions. Most of us have not been taught how to regulate our emotions. We have not been taught how to really be aware of the triggers that affect us, the triggers that influence our everyday life. Now, art is something that you can really take advantage of in situations like this. Now, you can do it as a group, you can do it alone. This is one journey that I think most of you can really take an advantage of. Now, Christina has something to say here. Christina says that she totally agrees. So thank you so much, Christina, for sharing your point of view. Thank you so much. And indeed, we can fully focus on one thing at a time. Yes, exactly. If we can do that, we can actually multitask like the browser does. Anyway, I think most of us have got the point what I'm trying to make here. So I'll come back to quickly wrap this up so that we can. So again, we as general audience can really take the advantage of art, and artists have been doing it through ages. They are the ones who specialize in this, and they create art for us. Most of the times, art is something which helps us increase our empathy and self-compassion. So there are studies to prove it. I can share those links below and you can go through them. To increase empathy, now then in that case, I think artists are the ones who are really empathetic. They create art not for themselves. They create it for us. Now, whether these are visual arts, performing arts, or in whichever form it is, we can see that these artists are selflessly helping us deal with it, while they themselves struggle with a lot. Most of us are not aware. While we are aware of some of them, which are quite popular, and we get to learn about their mental health concerns. However, research done by University of Westminster and Music Tank of musicians, according to that study, they found out that more than 68% of the people studied were suffering from depression. And 71% said that they have experienced severe anxiety, which shows that musicians are 3 times more likely and they are more susceptible to depression than an average person. There's another study which was done by the Office of National Statistics Canada, and they found out that musicians or the artists in general were far more vulnerable to die of suicide. That is 3 times more likely to die of suicide than the general audience. Now, the research that is also shown in the slide, you can see that according to them, it's twice more likely that performing artists commit suicide, they die of suicide 2 times more than other industries. Now, this is a sad reality. And yet it's a reality. All of us experience stress. All of us have faced some or the other form of mental health concerns by the age of 40. Now, this is something that is told to us. This is researched, and it's been shared, just a moment, by Canadian Mental Health Association, that by the age of 40, almost 50%, now this research was done before the pandemic, I'm sure the results are far higher. These percentages are far higher now in general population. So 50% people are likely to have mental health illness or mental health concerns by the age of 40. Now, this is something that I think people like us would agree. We know that there are times when we really struggle. We don't have to tell it to somebody. We don't have to share it with people, but we need to first know from inside to really make any kind of difference or to really proceed towards well-being. If you understand it, awesome. We can now move ahead to the next step then. Through studies, it is also suggested that creativity, so in people who face mental health concerns, are more creative. Now, if it is true or not, that's still debatable. There are a lot of psychologists who believe that yes, creativity is increased by the level of your mental health concerns and how you leverage it. Because if you can think about it, if you can just, in the layman's term, there's this movie that's a Bollywood movie, and I'm sure there are a lot of other movies and where we have seen that people ask. Now, again, sorry, I'll come back to this one that I'm quoting. So it's a movie Rockstar, where where the mentor of the protagonist tells him in his early struggling years that since your heart is not broken, you can't be a really good artist. You can't be a really good artist. Now, is it true or not? Again, it's debatable, but I think from famous personalities which we have witnessed and that we have come across, we know that mental health concerns are real. They struggle through this a lot, especially people who are in front of the media. Now, everything about them is public. There is a lot to manage. There is a lot at stake. And we can expect them to have some concerns. Now, there are some artists who have really leveraged those advantages to be where they went, to be where they are today. However, there are actually quite a lot, who have also suffered through them so much that it didn't end well. Now, if we discuss the topic that is at hand right now, you can see on the screens, it doesn't have to be that way. Since the link is not that, it's not still established, we can see that creativity comes from out of the box thinking, and people with mental health concerns are usually so much involved in themselves that they seek strategies. Their brain seeks strategies to be able to deal with things that they can see. Now, that requires out of the box thinking almost all the time. Hence, if there's a link, then it could be true as well. However, that does not have to be the case. Now, to say that that is what it is, we really need to work towards a solution. So at Talk to Miss MP, we are collaborating with global teams of experts, researchers, and professionals like you to really provide self-sustaining model for your organization to organizations around the globe. But we can't do this alone. We need your help. And if you are here with us, I think we can together achieve a self-sustaining model which can help us create affordable services to affordable mental health services which are scalable, which are measurable at every point, and also which are globally available. Now, at this point, I need your suggestions. Now, again, there's one more poll that I would really need your suggestions on, which is, what is music to you? What is music to you? How do you use music? If you are live on LinkedIn right now with me, or you're live on YouTube at the moment, could you please just comment? Let's see, how do you use or leverage music for your well-being? I'm not sure I'm able to see the live comments. Hello? Yezu, can you see any live comments there?
I can't see them as of now. I'm trying to refresh my LinkedIn.
Not at the moment, I guess. Anyway, no issues if you are watching the replay or if you watch the replay later. Please do share your views on how do you use music. How do you take the advantage of music? Well, Christina has shared her views. So she used music as an escape, as a comfort, and to celebrate. Wow. Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you very much. Now, music also acts as an identifier of identity to musicians. I mean, you would be the right person to share that with us. And we are going to proceed with our amazing chat. So I'll just remove it. Yeah, cool. So, Yizu, I'm handing it over to you now. And please share your, oh, sorry, just a moment. There is Natasha who has shared how does she use music? She uses music to distress herself. Wow, that's great. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much for joining us here. Could everybody please also share where are they live from at the moment? Like, I am from India. Zizu is from Canada. And where are all of you from?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll come back to Isu. Isu, could you please share your story of how you became a performer, an international performer, just at the age of 16? You're just a high schooler. Now, I'm sorry, I'm using just again and again. At your age, I'm sure it already feels too much. Like 16 is not less of an age. Yet at the age of 30, I think 16 is, I was not even aware of what am I going to do with my scores. What am I going to do with my 10th grade? What am I going to do with my life? My goodness. And then you are already an international performer. Could you please share your journey with all of us?
Yeah, so I actually got into performing not because I was interested in music. Well, I got into music quite early, so I've actually had 13 years of experience in music. I actually started performing after 1 year, so that's quite understandable that you need kind of like a 1 year gap to kind of practice your skills. But I kind of got into music, well, I was really little, so I wasn't really looking at music specifically. I saw like the cool nails that they wore. I can show you an example of that. So here's an example of one of the nails I saw that they wore. It's super cool. They had like I think it was like the golden ones that they had there. And then I was like, wow, those just look super cool. I want to try those on. So I kind of just tried them on and I kind of went for it. I mean, when I was 4, I really didn't feel the pressure to learn music or to try something new or to like establish a career wasn't even something I was aware of. So I just started it because, well, it looked interesting to me and it was something I wanted to try out. So yeah, I just went and explored it. It was super, super interesting to me. So I decided to keep with it and actually start performing a year later. And when you're like 4 or 5, you really don't have like a thorough grasp on stress when you're performing. And it's not like something that immediately hits you. You're not directly aware that you might get hate or negative comments just from your performance. So I think at first I really wasn't aware of it and I was just really there to perform, to have fun and to enjoy everything and to meet new people. So I think that kind of continued until I was about 7 or 8. And I was leading like a group performance. Actually, my teacher asked me to lead a group of performance and it looked super exciting for me. And I was like, this is something that's so cool. I really want to join this. So I accepted it and well, it didn't go as expected. Halfway through the performance, we went out of sync. And since there are no background music, you can kind of just hear everyone was kind of on their own page. And then we were all kind of like looking sideways at each other, like, you're off beat. Come on, let's like get this together. We're like ending soon. So at least you got to end on the same note. But that unfortunately didn't happen. And as kind of like the leader of my group, I was the one who kind of heard the most amount of negative criticism. I remember the one that I heard the most was I came here to view a group performance, but I got to hear 7 solos performed at the same time. And I think that was the time when it really hit me that, whoa, there are a lot of negative consequences for messing up on stage. And that was when the stress and anxiety element of it really hit me. And I think it really lasted for a long time. I think all the way until I was 10, 11, or 12, I will always kind of just have this, I don't know, moment of doubt before I go on stage. I would be like, okay, what if I mess up again? And this time I might be doing a solo or a duet, so there's even less people out there, and I'm just gonna be the one taking like the full blame for everything. So I got really, really anxious over that. But the sad part was that nobody in the industry would admit that they would get stressed or anxious. It's kind of just because you only have one shot to get it right, and that the company you're performing for or the organization you're doing it for, they really, really want to keep up their reputation. So if you say something like, oh, I just get a little bit stressed before going on stage, they kind of assume that you might go on stage and then have a breakdown, which is totally fine. It's understandable why. You do have a lot of pressure on you. But just because of that, if you admit that you are stressed or anxious, they will not cast you. It's not they'll hide you in the background thing. They will just absolutely cut you off and you will not have an opportunity to perform again. So I think through that, it was a really hush-hush topic. And unfortunately, I haven't heard anyone talk about it. And I haven't really talked about it myself during that time. I just kind of really tried to hide it. And obviously, it's not something that you should hide. It's something that's, it's natural and human to experience stress and anxiety. But it just isn't something that's very acceptable within the performing industry. And that's something I definitely think should be changed too. So I think that kind of continued until I was about 10, 11, or 12-ish. And there wasn't like a breakthrough moment for me. I think it was just like a combination of more experience and also getting older. But I think I kind of realized right before I went on stage that like there's nothing really much I can do at the moment. So I just kind of went for it.
My God. I just want to add here, like at the age of 7, where you had this such a heartwarming experience, and you really gained that knowledge by the age of 10, I think that it's all okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so wise. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hopefully that kind of sparked a little conversation.
So yeah, by the age, when you went ahead with your uh, journey, did you make any changes in how you used to like? Because see, we can't get away from stress. We can't get away from stage fright. We we really can't. There's no escape. And when you can't talk about your mental health condition while still dealing with it every day, how do you do it, and how did you do that at such a young age?
Yeah, I think it was just something that I suddenly noticed. There wasn't like a breakthrough moment. And before I kind of go into there, I just want to quickly address that I'm not diagnosed with any mental health illness as of now. So obviously, your circumstances might be different from mine, and my advice might not be the most valid. And I'm definitely nowhere an expert on mental health. I'm just a professional performer, so this is kind of my side of it. But what I thought of before I went on stage was I had about 15 minutes until I was about to go on. And really, I didn't have an instrument. I didn't have like sheet music to look over. There was like really nothing backstage. So I kind of just went like, there's really nothing I can do now except to just wait and be calm. Like if I get really anxious, I might mess up again. So why not just kind of take the time to relax? And I kind of thought about it as water, like the philosophy of water and just steadily flowing. I've kind of practiced this through and I've rehearsed this. Right now, this is like the most I can do right now. So I'm just gonna go on stage, perform like I've always done, and then kind of just flow through the entire thing. I'm not gonna stress about it. Just like how water just flows downhill, it doesn't really, it doesn't really try to go anywhere else. Just go with the flow. And yeah, just take my mind off of all the stress and the potential negative comments I'm gonna get and really focus on my performance because I know I'm not pressured to be performing. I'm only performing because it's something I enjoy and something that brings me and others happiness.
I think all of us can learn something from here with this beautiful example of the state of flow that we can achieve by taking an example of water, how water really just takes everything that comes its way and still flow through whatever that comes. And when it comes when we're talking about performance, I think this is such a beautiful way of sharing how you dealt with it. The performance issues are for everybody, all of us. Every day we are dealing with it. But then, if we can take this kind of an example or anything that resonates with you, and you can keep it with you in front of your eyes, if you prefer visual markers, I think it would be really great. We can really leverage that with the state of flow by being considering ourselves as a performer, as we are. If we have reached where we are today, it's such an so Yuzu is such an inspiration that we can leverage wherever we are, and we can take our journey ahead since we are here only because we could perform, and we don't really need to fuss over. Our brain just hangs on to things that it finds exciting, and especially times like these, our brains are looking for things to feel excited about. Now negative things, we are conditioned to, our brain is evolutionarily conditioned to seek negative triggers so that we are in the alert mode always. Now these are survival instincts, especially with people with ADHD. It's like an all-time hunter mode that they are in. So if we can just try to be a little more aware, like Yizu is, about her performance, that you're just performing. You're performing it for yourself first than anybody else. If we can do that, I think there will be less amount of stress in our everyday lives. That's something that I think all of us can learn from Yizu. Yizu, there's a post that I observed I think a few days ago, where you had shared about this whole concept of identity, how you were not seen as you, but from the lens of your father, your grandfather. Could you share that a little bit of the story and what do you really feel about it?
Oh, okay. A brief background of what happened was that my grandfather, he likes to speak a lot and he also loves to present. So he found this super well-known and well-recognized organization and then they were asking for performers and speakers to go there. And he signed up as kind of like a keynote speaker. And at the same time, he kind of asked me like, hey, I think this is a great opportunity you might be interested in too. So like, is this something you want to do? I can sign you up for that. And I was like, absolutely, this looks phenomenal. I'd love to join. So he signed me up for it as my own act, not under anyone else's name, but he was the one who signed me up, but he put my act as separate from his. And then afterwards, it was a little bit weird because I only got a message from them asking for my name and also the piece I was going to perform, and also to send them a recording of it. So, like it was really weird. They didn't really ask me for a bio or anything, but just because they were such a well-known organization, I really decided to let that go. I thought maybe they were going to ask for it later, but in the end, until the day of the live stream performance, they didn't. So what ended up happening was they ended up taking my grandfather's bio and also my father's bio and using it in substitute of my bio. They were more of describing me as kind of a part of their family and their daughter and granddaughter instead of myself. And of course, I am their daughter and granddaughter, but there's just this lacking aspect of me as a performer and me as an individual. I think I'd like to be recognized more as of an individual performer, definitely with the support from my family. But I think it's a strong cultural thing right now, and it's not something that's the most positive. If I could go back, I would probably have maybe followed up with them and asked them like, okay, what's up with the bio? Or even after the video live stream, I could have also stopped them too. But I think at that time I was really in shock that because it was such a well-known organization. I really didn't expect these little details to emerge here and there. But yeah, I think it's just a really strong cultural thing that I think a lot of Asian families have, that the daughter is kind of a part of the family just because of the father and the grandfather and so on.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. At least from the experiential perspective, that being Asians, so everybody, Yezu is from mainland China, and as Asians, like I'm from India, so as Asians, I think this is one thing that all of us can mostly relate to, which is the whole cultural bias in a way towards the one gender, towards its own culture, where individuals, since again it's a collective society and not individualistic society as the West, but then that really affects the whole well-being, the whole identity of a person, and especially at workplace now with the whole global setup where all of us are global citizens within the age of digital revolution. I think we really want to be seen as us first, as who I am. And then, yes, I do want to have that cultural identity. I do want to have this whole identity from a lot of perspectives because I'm not just a representation of my culture, I'm also a representation of this whole arena of things that I do. Like, Yizu is a musical performer. She wants to be identified as a musical performer. And what's wrong in it? We also belong to a community of us, a set of age. We do want to be represented as that. So, identity is such an important part of our everyday well being that if we don't feel the belongingness, we do want to feel that, yes, I am an individual, but we do also want to have a sense of belonging with a whole set of group, with a culture, at workplace, at home, everywhere. So it's not that easy, I'm sure, and I understand that it is not easy. Like the clients that I deal with, there's this huge sense of disconnect that most of us are feeling during this time, that I think we need to be a little more empathic, and nothing like art can really teach us to be more empathetic. Say for example, we begin with creating something every week and sharing it with somebody that we don't like. Now, what do you think about this whole idea of giving or offering? Now, how we say in Asian cultures, especially in Buddhist culture, it's an offering that we make when we are giving. We are not giving, we are offering somebody a part of us. Like Yesu is offering all of us a part of earth, a part of her, which will stay with us. If we want, it will stay with us forever. It's in whole this quantum zone, it is with us. And how we leverage this opportunity will really make a difference in our lives, especially if we can try it in this whole month. I think we can see a difference. We can elevate the state of our mental health. Now, coming back to Yesu, could you share a little bit of how you are leveraging and how you are, I think leveraging, the opportunity, the benefits of wilderness, nature, and what do you do with it? Like I've seen in your bio that there's something that you do, there's something exciting. And as a wilderness explorer, I am super keen to learn that. So could you please share something about it?
Yeah, of course. So I first got into kind of the whole exploring wilderness thing when I first immigrated to Canada. And of course, kind of as someone who didn't really know English, my only way to connect with others was through actually doing things. And one of the clubs I joined was running club, and we will run through a forest and hills together, and also rivers every now and then. It was super fun and just a great way to connect with others, not really in like a verbal way, but still was a great way to build a community. And through that, I kind of built this connection around nature and this calmness that I get from just being with it. So recently, I've joined the Canadian Wildlife Federation under youth team called Wild Outside. And what we basically do is we engage in leadership conservation projects. For example, we just planted a pollinator garden with native plants. And I think that in a way just really helps calm my nerves and steady right now where I am, and also to draw a strong connection with nature and also my community.
Yeah, so you are able to connect nature with music. And I think that's what the today's performance is also about. So are we gonna listen something exciting? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I prepared a song for you. It's not the original version, but I made some edits of my own to make it more unique. So yeah, I'll start putting on the nails I showed you earlier. These ones.
Yeah, sure. Please,
Yeah.
please. We're super excited. Everybody who is live with us and everybody who will be watching the replay, guys, now is the time to really get excited. We are going to begin with the live musical performance on Gu Zheng. Did I pronounce it correctly? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, while Yizu is prepping and gearing up for the performance, let me share this one fact that I recently came to learn about myself, which is I have been an admirer of Chinese culture. Now, who has who is there somebody who does not appreciate the art of war or Kung Fu Panda? Like those who watch the Hollywood stuff, they know.
Oh, those are staple.
You can't, you cannot not love Kung Fu Panda. I mean, if there's somebody who doesn't, I think we would need to have a separate conversation, and I would really like to know, why do you not like Kung Fu Panda? Anyway, that has really helped me. Now, I have been listening to Chinese music in some or the other form. Like, another favorite one for me is Avatar. No, I have not read the original comics. I have a collection, but I haven't read it yet. I only saw the movie. So that's absolute favorite of mine. That's more like a go-to movie for me whenever I'm not feeling good. So there are three movies that I always go for. Actually, there are more. Like these. There's this Little Big Soldier. That's also one of my favorite movies. That's just so grounded. One can actually learn about being grounded yet performing at its best through that movie. Now, another one of my favorite is The Karate Kid. Whoa, I just get goosebumps every time I watch it. And these are some of the movies that are like my favorite. Now, again, coming back to what I was, there's another one that's with Monkey King, which is, I think, The Lost Kingdom. That's another movie which is the one which I really, really appreciate. And there was this, no, again, coming back to what I'm trying to say, which is Chinese.
Yeah.
I've been an appreciator of Chinese music. And while having a conversation with Yisu, I figured out that Guzheng is the instrument that she's going to play. Now, I had no idea what it is and how do we even pronounce that. Now, I learned that while, we're ready. So this is one instrument that I think all of you will appreciate. This is something that I have been appreciating. I didn't know the name. Now I know, and I've been listening to it again and again. So now we are ready for the live performance. I'm super excited, and I think this will help us calm down. This is so peaceful. It is amazing. And thank you so much, Yizu, for doing this for all of us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So the song is actually based off of a ancient Chinese poem, and the melody actually existed since the Ming Dynasty, which I believe is 1300 AD. So for a long time. Yeah. So this is kind of like my own tweak on this, but yeah, I'll get started right there. You can see it's tiny. It's quite big. You can see it. But yeah, I'll be setting up. So I'll move this chair and yeah. Okay, just have to make sure that. Yep, I'm ready. Let's do this. I just want to tuck my sleeves in so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, you can still see me, right? Yeah? Great, let's get started. And there you have it. Any thoughts on that, Ms. T?
Thank you so much. Wow, that was wonderful.
Yeah,
That was
really liked it. Up to this side, so big. Oh my gosh. It literally spans the entire sofa at this point.
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Izio. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a great time for
I don't
both
have
of
the
you. I
words.
absolutely loved it.
I really don't have the words to say anything at the moment. I really feel peaceful. I really feel better than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you so much. And I think on this note, I would let everybody to be in this state of peace after listening to such beautiful music and not try to fudge with it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And would love to see you again this month on another episode. And before that, I would request you to go and follow Yezu on LinkedIn for more updates, and also follow Talk to Miss MP for more updates on our other episodes, on our other programs that we do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you all so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.